Hello, welcome my to channel reading book 1984. Let's go. He voice made metal by the filer bomber force and endless catalog of artist site. Mass cars, operation, looting, raping, torture of peasant, bombing of civilian line, propaganda, and just aggression, broken trail was almost impossible to listen to him without being first conveyed and then model every few moments the fury of the crowd by the aura and voice of the speaker was drowned by a well-breathed loud roaring that rose uncontrollably from thousands of throats. The most savage yells of all come from the school children. The speech had been proceeding for perhaps 20 minutes when a messenger hurried on the platform and the scrap of paper was slipped into the speaker's hand. He unrolled and read it without pausing in his speech, nothing altering in the voice or manner or in the content of what he was saying, but instantly the names were different without words said. A wave unfortunately repelled through he crowd. Oceania was at war with Stasia. The next moment there was a tremendous commotion. The banner and poster with which the square was decorated were all drawing. Quite half of them had the rhyme face on them. It was subtoger the a junta of the Golosna had been at work. There was a ray to enter the low wall posture where a pair from the wall banner torn shadow and the trauma underfoot. The spice performed prodigies of exactly the climber over the rooftop and cutting the stream the flutter from the chimney, but with two or their may was all over the orator, still grabbing the neck of the microphone. His shoulder bunched forward, his free hand clawing at the air, had gone astray on with his speech on men more and the feral roar of rage were again bursting from the crowd. The hate continued exactly as before, except that the target had been changed. The scene that impressed me in looking back was that the speaker had switched from one line to the other, but at the moment he had others in the preoccupy him. It was during the moment of disorder while the posters were being thrown down that a man whose face he did not see had tapped him on the shoulder and said, "Excuse me, I see we've dropped your briefcase. You took the briefcase." Abstractly, without speaking, he knew that it will be days before he had an opportunity to look inside the instant that the demonstration was over. He went straight to the Ministry of Truth. So the time was now nearly 20 hours. This entire staff of the ministry had done likewise. The order already issuing from the telescreen calling them to their posts were hardly necessary. Oceania was ever with Stasia. Oceania had always been at war with Stasia. A large part of the political ledger of Fires was now completely obstacle. Porter, recorder of all kind, new paperback, pamphlets, soundtrack, photograph all had to be rectified at lighting speed. Also, not directive was an overissue. It was now that the chief of the department intended that was on with no reference to the war with Russia or the island in which Stasia should remain extant anywhere. The work was overwhelming, all the more so because the process that he was involved could not to be called by their true name. Everyone in the record department worked and hour in the 24 with two their hours snatcher of sleep matters were brought up from the color and pitch all over the corridor. Mel consisted of this individual Victoria cafe were round or trolley by attendants from the canteen. Each time the wisdom broke off for one of his spell, he tried to leave his desk clear of work, and each time that he crawled back, a sick eye and each in. It was not fine that another shower of paper cylinder had covered the desk like a snowdrift, half burying the spiral and overflowing on onto the floor so that the first job was always to stack them into the neat enough pile to give him room to work. What was worst of all was that the work was by no means purely mechanical. Often it was enough merely to substitute a name for other, but any detailed report of event demand current imagination. Even the go graphical now that one need in transferring the work from one part of the world to another was considerable. By the 3 days his eyes itched unbearably and his spectacular needed vaping every few minutes. It was like struggling with some crashing physical test, something which on had the right of the refuse, and which on was nevertheless never could injustice to comply in so far as he had time to remember it. It was not troubled by the fact that every word he murmured into a speak right, every stroke of his in pencil was the deliberate lie. It was as anxiety and anyone else in the department that the career should be perfect on the morning of the sixth day. The dribble of seculator slowed down for as much as I have an hour. Nothing came out of the tube. Then more slender than nothing everywhere about the same time. Word was easy enough a deep and as it were secular side went through the department. Mildly did which could never be mentioned had been achieved. It was now impossible for any human being to prove by the democracy evidence that the war with Russia had ever happened at 1200 was unacceptably nice that all working in the ministry were very still. Tomorrow morning Stone still carrying the briefcase containing the boy which had remained between his feet while he worked and under his body while he slept. When home shaved himself and almost fell asleep in his bath, also the water was barely more than tepid. With a sort of voluptuous crying his joined, he climbed the stair above Mr. Carrington's shop. He was tired, but not sleepy any longer. He opened the window, let the dirt a little oil stove, and put on a pan of water for coffee. Julia will arrive presently. Meanwhile, there was a book. He sat down in this childish armature and undid the dry briefcase. Unhappy black volume amateurishly bound with no hem or title and over the print also like a slightly irregular. The paper worn at the edge and fell apart easily as through the book had passed through many hands. The inscription on the title page ran: throughout recorded time and probably since the end of the Neolithic age, There have been three kinds of people in the world: the high, the middle, and the low. They have been subdivided in many ways. They have brown cotton, different name and relative number, as well as their attitude toward on other have varied from ego, but essential structure of society has never altered even after enormous on up however and similar irrevocable change. The same pattern is always restrained itself, just as a grassroots will always return equilibrium, however for its push over one way or the other. The aim of these groups are entirely irreconcilable. Winston stopped reading Chafee in order to appreciate the fact that he was already in comfort and safety. He was alone. No, no telescreen, not at the column, no nervous impulse, the glance over his shoulder or cover the peg with his hand. The Swiss samurai play a gun in his cheek from somewhere far away. There floated the fine shot of chill. Children in the room itself, there was no sound except the insane voice of the clock. He settled drove into the armchair and put his feet up on the fender. He was blind, he was immediately soundly as on times does with a block of which on now that on will ultimate read and reread every word. He opened it at a different place and found himself and cheaper he went on reading. That's an hour's war is pace tomorrow. Goodbye.